Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we have new data, new polls, new metrics, new news, new economic data, and it is looking good for Donald Trump and it's not looking too good for Joe Biden as it sits right now. Donald Trump, according to Fox News' pollster, which again is not typically a pro-Trump pollster. They're run by a liberal and a never-Trump Republican. Those are the people that run this firm that they use. It does tend to be a relatively accurate poll regardless. And post-conviction, in key swing states, we were told Trump is going to struggle after the conviction. Donald Trump expands his lead in Arizona. He's above 50% in Arizona. His lead in the five-way race is the same. He's up by 5, and this is not the only state that they polled. And then we go to Nevada. Nevada shows Donald Trump leading by 5. He's at 50% in Nevada. That is absolutely huge for Donald Trump, and in the multi-candidate race, he is also posting 45%. Then Virginia, this is the huge one. The state of Virginia, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are tied in a state that Biden won by more than 10 percentage points. And this is not the only poll to show this, by the way. But what's interesting is this is not some like 41-41 or 42-42. This is 48-48. Which means that Donald Trump, not only in this poll, it's not like they pushed every undecided or whatever. Donald Trump is at 48% in the state where he got 44% of the vote, and there's still undecideds. This is Virginia. This is not a drill. This is a state where Republicans, a lot of people thought they would never win it again. Same thing they said about Arizona and Georgia, and to an extent Nevada back in the day, even though that talk has kind of simmered down recently. But Virginia, Donald Trump at 48, and Biden is tied with him. I mean, you saw Youngkin win in 2021, but this is on a whole nother level, what we're seeing in the state of Virginia right here, right now. And is there some buyer's remorse? Is Donald Trump improving in some of these suburban places? I think a lot of it is among, Latino voters. Black enthusiasm's dropping. That's like 20-some% of the Virginia electorate. So, I mean, there's many things that are happening right now, but for Trump and Biden to be running even in Virginia, I'm not saying Trump's going to win Virginia, but it's likely going to be closer than 2020. A lot of people thought the state would be like another, New Jersey or another state like Illinois, for example, where, you kind of have, at least in the case of Illinois, it's like a, D plus close to 20 state. And you have a urban core, which would basically be Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., the swamp. And then you have a lot of red, but the lot of red doesn't really have the pull because the population's up in the swamp. So either way, Virginia, is it turning a corner? Is Biden that bad? Yeah, apparently. And Donald Trump, he's leaving no stone unturned this election. He really is. I mean, the guy, he's making the rounds now. He's doing his campaigning. He was in Arizona for a campaign town hall. He's taking questions from voters. Like, that's something you need to do. Then he gets his Dr. Phil interview that airs, which was, again, relatively, a great interview. Very impartial. I mean, Dr. Phil just lets Trump talk. He doesn't try to debate with him. He just showcases what Trump believes. And Dr. Phil is somebody who's defended Trump, and he's also got an audience of a lot of suburban women, people that really haven't been that kind of Trump, and he's humanizing Trump to that audience, and the left is not too happy about that. But you're looking at that, but then you have the poll out of Florida, and also before we talk about the Florida poll, because I think that this is something a lot of people are going to point to as proof that maybe there's a problem. Donald Trump went to San Francisco for a fundraiser. You had MAGA flags on trucks surrounding the fundraiser in San Francisco, of all places. He raised another $12 million effortlessly. I mean, the guy is a madman completely. But here's the deal. There's a poll out of Florida in this poll, or round of polls from Fox News. They have Trump up only 4 in the head-to-head. Now, here's the deal. People online, mainly the DeSantis people, ironically enough, they are posting this poll as proof that Trump is finished and ignoring every other poll here. Now, here's the deal with these polls. Throw them in the aggregate, for one. There's outliers. This Florida poll is an outlier, even though I think that the five-way race is probably closer to the accurate margin here. I think Trump probably wins the state by close to 10. I think it'll be below. I could see him win it by 7. It's a presidential year. He's not going to get the midterm margins, but you see the registration changes. Did Fox account for that? Doesn't really seem like they did a whole lot. And on top of it, this is a state where Fox polled in June of 2020 and Biden was up by 9. So if you want to apply that polling error, Trump would have a double-digit lead and then some. But either way, this is one poll. Throw it in the average. Throw the other polls in the average. But here's the deal. The other polls show Trump gaining compared to the last Fox polls. And the averages, even in Virginia, are closer to tied than Florida is to Trump +4, and he's doing better in the poll in Florida than his 2020 margin, but for some reason it's bad news for Trump. Like, seriously? Like, I think that every poll should be thrown in the average. Even the Quinnipiac polls in Wisconsin, throw it in the average. Fine, why not? Probably is going to be wrong because it's an outlier, but there's a reason why we have polling aggregates, not necessarily just an individual poll. So either way, Trump is gaining. He's improving. Now his fundraiser totals, like over the past, I guess you would say, a week and a little bit more than that, $400 million since convicted. $400 million since he was convicted. And then we find out that there was a comment left on the New York court system's Facebook page before Trump's conviction saying, my cousin's a juror and says Trump is getting convicted. Now, here's the deal. Maybe this is real. Maybe this is somebody that's just, BSing, in which it's meaningless. But let's say it is real. In any normal circumstance, mistrial. Again, we talk about the fact that this was not a unbiased, impartial jury. It is a rigged system. And we know that. Donald Trump in New York with a judge that is a Democrat donor, daughter has a lot to gain financially given her career from Biden's success electorally and Trump's demise. And we know the jury pool in an area that voted for Biden 90-10, a little bit more than that actually. Maybe that goes down a little bit now because people are waking up to seeing what's going on, but still. You look at this and it's like, this could be interesting, intriguing, game-changing, depending on if it's real or not. At least it's a talking point. Now, again, we'll see what happens if this is confirmed or not. I can't say it is, but still. What is confirmed is that the economy, though, is not looking too good. And we have the data. Unemployment rate. Remember they were saying, well, it's been like 2 to 3 years. The unemployment rate's below 4%. Here's the problem with that number. The unemployment rate went down under Biden because we were opening up. Governors were opening their states. Basically, you reopen the Trump economy, and it's a hell of a lot weaker than it was back in 2019, before COVID. But you look at this, unemployment's going up again, while the labor force declined by 400,000 people when you adjust for population change. And they say we created 230,000 new jobs. We've seen this movie play out. In the Trump years, they would say, we created let's say in a given month, 150,000 jobs. Next month, it was revised up to 250. It was like, whoa, what's going on? But, this time under Biden, you're seeing the opposite. And a lot of the gains are going to illegal aliens and non-citizens. 414,000 illegals, or even some people on visas, they're gaining, but the native-born Americans are losing. And native-born Americans, since before COVID, have lost 2 million jobs under the Biden tenure because of these Democrat lockdowns that these governors imposed as well. But a lot of these job gains are illegals or people that are non-citizens, can't even vote. That's a major, major issue, and it kind of proves that this is all gaslighting. You don't even talk about the stock market, which they would brush aside under the Trump era, but they're touting it now. It's like Dow's gone up over the past 4 years by, they say 10,000 or so, which again, I believe it went up more from Trump's election to Biden's inauguration. But still, adjust that for inflation. And it's basically the gains are next to nothing. And the American people know what they see it. The economy's sluggish. They crave for jet fuel to be pumped into it. That's a winning issue for Donald Trump in this election. Now, that's not to say there's not a lot of winning issues. The problem with Donald Trump is that there's so much to attack Biden on that it's like you're not going to be able to cover everything. But still, what's the number one indicator in a president's reelection odds and what percent they get? It's their approval rating. And Biden right now has an approval rating that's underwater. According to 538, it's at 37.6. That's lower than Trump's was right after 1-6. Make no mistake about it. He has hit his record low, and we're less than 5 months away from the election. Early ballots go out in 3.5 months in some places, some key swing states. And you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me that Joe Biden is in a really, really, really good position to go out there and win? The answer is no, because the American people aren't buying these numbers. And Trump and Biden are going to debate in 20 days from today. We'll see what happens there. But the fact that the conviction has backfired, the fact that Biden is running out of time and things are getting worse, you get 4 or maybe 5 jobs reports, economic reports before the election, unemployment's going up. You know, they talk about the GDP growth that's going down, hear a lot of noise about the 13 keys. 13 keys have been wrong. You know what hasn't been wrong? The guaranteed loss rule. You compare 2024 to 2023, any case where you have a party where the growth slows, where unemployment ticks up, you are guaranteed a loss. And that's kind of what's happening right now. So people want to talk about some of these models that have been right more than they've been wrong. Well, we could point to other ones that have been even more accurate. And what do they exactly show? They show Biden in a hell of a lot of trouble. And this cannot be understated that there's a lot going wrong right now. So either way, the cope is, but the Florida poll, again, throw it in the average and throw all the other ones in the average too. But here's the difference. The other ones match the average, while Florida's poll is an outlier from an organization that really has struggled consistently to poll Florida well. There's no way Florida is going to be that competitive. If you look at the registration changes, you compare them from 2020 to now, or even 2022 to now, it's gone up substantially for the Republicans, and that's absolutely huge. You're seeing that state not even be in play. Texas is not even in play. And how does Trump win the election? You got to get to 270. He's going to get North Carolina, probably Georgia. That's already, 251. Nevada's 257. Ironically enough, Virginia could be enough to get him there without Arizona or the Rust Belt. And that's the thing. Biden, a lot of his resources right now, they're in Arizona and then the Rust Belt 3, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. He's having to defend Virginia. Whether you believe the polls or not, there being that close will hold up is completely irrelevant. The fact that we're talking about Virginia and we're talking about Minnesota and those states are closer than Pennsylvania is the other way, that's not a good sign. Things can happen. We have 4 to 5 months, obviously closer to 5 months before the election. We have both conventions. We have 2 debates, probably a vice presidential debate that's going to be less consequential. And who knows what's going to happen. But either way, it's like Donald Trump cannot be stopped. They hit him with a felony conviction. As I predicted, his fundraising numbers were through the roof. As I predicted, it would not backfire against him. It would backfire against them. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So we need people, again, get out and vote. It's not a done deal by any means, but you like to see what's going on right now. This is unprecedented territory. Donald Trump, the revenge tour. Americans love that comeback story. Is it going to happen? That's the real question. But all the indications right now, which they could change, point to the fact that it will. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.